Let it be known heretofore that an attempt was made. Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies. Welcome to my brand new Italian Pasta Boy Golden lineup, brought to you by my newly purchased M4 Hybrid and Bf110 G4. And just like the gaming show, it has been exciting, maybe a little bit frustrating, just getting a feel for it, and very, very profitable. Now in this match, I'm just getting a feel for the M4 Hybrid. It really feels like a typical Sherman at this tier, and that means it feels good. It's a really good vehicle, and it just fits the meta of War Thunder perfectly in terms of being a medium tank. The only thing that you miss out on is a little bit of armor penetration when it comes to facing things like T-34s and KVs, but doesn't everybody? Everything else is a one-shot for you, and you're going to see a good number of those in this match. And you may have already noticed that my audio is borked for this one, which is why I have this badass music from Metal Warriors just ablazing in the background. That is one of my OG favorite games for the Super NES, and still worth checking out. Just absolute fantasticalness. And there we go. We pick up our first kill with a good amount of situational awareness. That booshed up 57 having boy. It would have been really difficult to spot out if I hadn't seen him moving earlier, and using binoculars, so essential. You can see the even higher speed, low speed stabilizer being used to good effect here, and I've just absolutely fallen in love with this little Italian American boy. It's unique. It looks just a little bit different from a regular Sherman, and I really like the way it looks. I think this is my favorite turret just in terms of aesthetics and reliability. It's such a well-balanced platform, and the engine and hull armor are not the best, but not the worst either in the Sherman Hybrid. And again, it's really cool to have a vehicle that's sort of a carryover from the American tree, but also actually unique in just those little ways. So, I think I might have mentioned that I ended up having so much fun with this tank that I don't end up getting into the Bf110 in this match, which was my goal. But again, I'm also trying out the Sherman, and I just had a total blast. This is a map that I'm really familiar with, but it's nice to bring out a vehicle that's a slice of something new on a big ol' Sammy of American reliability. People talk about how the German tree is great from start to finish in terms of tanks, and I have to agree. But I also posit that perhaps the American tree is also wunderbar from Alpha to Omega as well. And there are many, many examples of this. Even more proof, American vehicles getting added to everybody's tech tree because they just fit the meta of War Thunder so well, and America happened to be somewhat liberal in their distribution of vehicles during and post-war. We were sort of the world's arms trade tycoon, if you will. That's a reference to the recent video that the European Canadian put out on arms trade tycoon tanks. ATTT. Anyway, I think that's going to be a fantastic game, and I can't wait for that thing to go into full release. Anyway, that's going to be a while. I don't even think they have a beta out yet. In any event, here we are, just taking over the battlefield, and now we're looking for targets. And you can see that the mobility of this Sherman is maybe just a little bit below some of the other 3.7 Shermans, but it's no big deal. And that stabilizer definitely earned us the kill there, along with our gun depression that enemy T-34 definitely lacks, that's one of those situations where the Sherman really shows its own, and that's your typical medium tank scenario where you're moving up on somebody using your better than heavy tank mobility and all that other jazz that you just saw. Now, if I seem a little bit distracted, it's because the kids are actually awake, and I'm trying to record this in the morning before everybody needs me, and right now what I hear in the background is giggling and squeals, and that means that Chonky just went into the bedroom and woke up Guppy, and it sounds like Guppy's pretty mad at her right now. So Chonky is 1.5, Guppy is 3, and their interactions are just they're hilarious. And I think maybe what happened is that Chonky climbed into the crib, so I might have to go intervene. Very American of me to go intervene in somebody else's politics, I know, but they're under my protection. Okay, that's my jurisdiction. Chonky is, she's a little one, and new shell changes. Can we punch through a KV2? Can we traverse the turret? New crew, who dis? You sort of forget how much crew skills affect things like turret traverse if you're used to playing high level crews, as I am. And I think that's kind of ridiculous, honestly, because this is a power traverse turret. We're talking about how hard the gunner decides to lean on that turret traverse lever. Oh yeah, he's gotta fight a couple hundred more battles before he, pushes it another fraction of a millimeter. Balancing factors in war thunder. I think the whole crew skills thing is just absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't cost a lot of money to, I guess that's where it comes from, doesn't it? It doesn't cost a lot of money to train up skills, but it costs a lot of time. So what do you know? Monetization methods. And there we have the proof. We tried to do some things in the 110, but we just didn't have time, and I am going to need to go intervene in some neighbor politics over here, because I hear Chonky giggling and Guppy going, ow, ow. There's probably some hair pulling going on, so I'll be right back. You gotta get up to get down. I said you gotta get up to get down. You gotta get up to get down, and when my baby makes a poopy, it's a squirty brown. Welcome back. Sorry, you haven't gone anywhere, but I tell you, I have seen such adventures as boggle the mind. And mostly, that's just getting a little bit, how do I put this? Put off by how immature my toddlers are. I know, imagine. But it's definitely not one of those days where I can record while they're awake. They demanded absolutely all of my attention, and the two of them are pretty crabby today. I think they're still tired from from their adventures yesterday in the park, and the rock eats most of our 1,000-kilogram bomb, protecting those two enemy tanks that I was hoping to snag a multi-kill off of, but mild disappointment is sort of my life right now, so that's not really a problem. When are my kids gonna be emotionally mature? Well, one bit at a time. One bit at a time. Excuse me. Got a little bit of the black lung, but check out this schnifter here. I just love the look on his face, man. Like, this Bf110 is a really good aircraft, and it's a delight to fly. It's, as I've probably already mentioned, definitely heavier feeling than other Bf110s, but it comes with some heavy equipment. The two 20 mils sticking through the legs of the rear gunner aimed upward toward enemy bombers are probably not going to see a lot of use in the game, but if you're down to, what's it called? Schlagermusik. That's right, fantastic German pronunciations. I know, I'm here all day. But if you're down to Schlager, then they're there. but otherwise they're mostly just dead weight. Several pieces of equipment weighing down this aircraft, and yet the engine's very powerful, very capable, and it makes the Bf110 G4 something of an odd duck, if you're willing to let me quack a little joke there. But it definitely performs in the ground strike role just a little bit better on a small scale than what the Italians already had on offer. And that comes down to the fact that it has two girthy bombs and several loadouts that are fairly effective, but the bombs are probably the most reliable. And the thing I like about bombs is that once you drop them, you pretty much have a clean airframe. So that really helps with your maneuverability, and that is something that you need all you can get out of the Bf110 G4. You can see when we're doing these vertical maneuvers that I like to use for ground attack, we have to be very careful with our speed. This is definitely an airplane that locks up at higher speeds, and it reaches those speeds fairly rapidly in a dive, so it suffers a little bit from DOE 335 syndrome, where you will lawn dart into the ground if you're not very disciplined and precise about how you set up your maneuvers. Now, one of the things that this has over something like the DOE is, even though it's a heavy aircraft, and you definitely feel that, I keep on mentioning it, but that's the biggest difference I've noticed between my other favorite Bf110, the one with the 30mm cannon in the body, is that this one actually has fairly good low speed handling. Now, it's not highly maneuverable at low speed, but it doesn't stall badly either, and I think that comes down to the thick, long wings, I suppose. It's got a lot of wing surface area, and that definitely makes a difference in those low speed maneuvers. Even so, that's not going to save you from enemy aircraft that have more energy than you. You can cut your throttle and use flaps to stay on someone's tail occasionally, but it's very difficult to shake someone in this aircraft. So in the ground RB meta, you definitely want to notice enemies before they notice you and set yourself up to deal with them. If worse comes to worst, you still do have that Zwilling rifle caliber machine gun in the rear, but that's not as effective as you want it to be most of the time because of its relatively low punch and somewhat poor firing angles, although I've seen worse. The fact that you can shoot directly behind the tail is somewhat helpful, but you don't have as much depression as you might like to have. I know. Sad boy noises. Anyway, I've just been really enjoying this aircraft. It's one of those planes that doesn't take over a match, but it also performs very consistently. And the main thing you get out of this is lots and lots of firepower. As soon as I figure out how to actually hit things with German cannons again, I'm used to 50 cals and 20 mils right now, so I'm not leading properly at all. But man, at close range, these cannons just absolutely tear things to pieces. And that really is no big surprise for any German aircraft, but what does come in handy in the Bf110 is its extended complement of ammunition. One of the downsides to a lot of the very popular fighters that Germany has to offer, and you see this less in Italy, is that they have great guns, but not a ton of cannon ammunition, especially when it comes to the 30mm MG108s. This is not the case with this particular Bf110, and it makes it fit just as well alongside the Italian fighters that have more ammunition than their German counterparts for the 20 mils. The fact that you have two different velocities, can we squeeze out of here? Yes, we got through, and there you can see a little bit of the locking up there, even at not the highest of speeds. This thing really doesn't like to come out of a steep dive, especially if you're taking stealth fire from an enemy SPAA. That was the case, and that's just part of the server issues that were going on patch day. That happens every time there's a patch day, and it was definitely going on today. A lot of people were crashing. I didn't experience any of that, but things could have gone a little bit better. Looking up though, this did end up being a really fun match, and as I mentioned before, the M4 Hybrid is an absolute gem and a joy. I'm very happy with the purchase, along with the Bf110. And if I had to sum up the Bf110 G4, well, I'd say it's just like a G2, only heavier, essentially, which makes it a little bit less good. I honestly feel like the G2 is overall a better plane in the roles that it plays, sitting at the same battle rating, and yet the G4 is a little more challenging, a premium, and one rank higher, and I think it really does deserve that higher rank. I understand why the 110 G2 for Germany sits at rank 2. There are a lot of other heavy fighters, strike fighter, attacker type aircraft, like all of the Me-410s that come later. And then you've got the rank 4 Heinkel 219, and those are, I think it's Heinkel. I get confused and mistaken. Miskufen, that sounds like a German word, doesn't it? Anyway, if I sound distracted, once again, I'm actually rocking a baby right now. Brooklyn is in the kitchen, up in the high chair with a chocolate muffin, so she's living the good life. And as I mentioned, my two toddler girls have been very cranky and very tired. They're just worn out from yesterday's adventures. We went to the park. It was delightful. Nobody was wearing a mask. But, I mean, outside of the daylight, anyway, whatever. I think people are over talking about COVID right now, so it is what it is. So we've all actually already had it, but they didn't have any problems at all. Lucky bastards. I felt like I was gonna die, but I was okay. I wasn't too worried about it. I've probably talked about it before, but now seems like a good time to chat as we have some fun in the M4 Hybrid. I say that I had COVID. I don't have any proof, but I mean, you don't have to prove that you had the flu, right? You know what the flu is. COVID definitely felt different, I'll tell you that. I felt like I couldn't breathe for about maybe 4 weeks, and the diarrhea, the migraines, it was fun, and it sucked, but no long-term problems, and I got through it just fine. Never went to the hospital because, seriously, fuck our hospital, it sucks ass. It's really bad. It's nice if you have to go there, but I mean, that's pretty much where people in my town go to die. It's, they don't have the best facilities, they don't have the best service, and they're busy. Anyway, Bf110, ground strike, we've got the 1,000-kilogram bomb, we've got the 250 sitting next to it, as you do. We're gonna win first and fourth in the wet t-shirt contest, and we're gonna kill some tanks on the way down. I can't get over the nose art on this thing. I really love it. I'm super proud of myself. You guys might notice that I am my own biggest fan. I think we're gonna die here. Oh, we pulled out just in time, guys, and we got 4 hits in the process, because why would you get kills with a 1,000-kilogram bomb? Am I right? I mean, it's got kill in the name, but hush hush. Can we get one just lobbing that 250? Wait for the timer, and yes! I mean, come on. Did you think I was gonna hit that one? Did you? Did you even know I dropped the bomb? That was pretty smooth. It was pretty slick. I should have used that level of skill with the 1,000-kilo bomb, but you know what? You live, you learn. You watch Sony Vegas jump around. I'm not sure if that's Oh, that seems to be a serious skip in the action. I think NVIDIA Shadowplay is having some issues, which wouldn't surprise me, because why wouldn't it? New War Thunder update and all that. Of course NVIDIA is going to start crapping the bed on me. It's probably not NVIDIA's fault. Anyway, it also should have been recording audio, so it looks like my Shadowplay is having some issues, so my apologies. But this is basically the way I play the Bf110 G4 in ground battles. Drop the bombs. If there's enemy fighters in the area, then maybe I'll try and climb and get an energy advantage on them, and then try and take them down. I've had some luck with that, but I really am not very good at aiming with the German cannons right now, and the Bf110 in general is not a forgiving aircraft if your aim is garbage, because you need to take advantage of those windows of opportunity. And yet, it definitely has the capability to pester ground targets, and just like I said, it's one of those aircraft that's never going to take over the game. It's very familiar. If you're a big fan of the Bf110F and the Bf110G that are found in the German tree, you might be a little bit disappointed by the fact that this is essentially just a little bit worse than the German Bf110G2. But that still makes it a very good aircraft. And like I said, it offers something that you don't really see in the Italian tree, which is a super heavy bomb, very nice, and then lots and lots of cannons, which you definitely get in things like the G55, but this is at significantly lower. My goodness, the stability of this video is just not fantastic. So sorry about that. That wasn't a cut, that was just Shadowplay pooping itself for a little while, and understandable. Like I said, War Thunder, whenever there's a new patch, things get swifty. But one of the things I really appreciate about this game is there's an insane amount of content in this game, and it's also a very well optimized game. There are few games this vast that perform as light on resources as this one does, especially with just, I mean, look, this is a good looking game when all things are said and done. It's not the best looking game, but all things considered, you definitely see the amount of effort put in to making this game work. And also, you can see that I'm trying way too hard to shoot down this enemy. What is it, a Hellcat or something? Those American Navy barrel fighters all kind of look the same to me, and he's flying circles around me because of course he would. You know, I missed my shots and I deserve to die. So let's go into the vertical, shall we? Snifter, take him down. The only thing that's helping me survive here is the fact, there it is, F6F. Yep, I was right. That enemy fighter had already taken some damage from ground fire, and the Wrpl boy ended up finishing him off. Now, I've got another issue, because that looks like another enemy fighter, and yes, he is flat turning with me. He expects to be able to outturn me, but like I said, this thing is fairly stable at low speed, so we're going to cut the throttle. We're going to use our landing flaps, and we're just going to oh, there's the hillside. Don't crash. Oh, he crashed. Well, what an idiot. And I use that in the friendliest way possible. Idiot meaning someone who does not know. And you could tell that he was not familiar enough with his aircraft to understand that he was going to slam into the ground trying to turn circles at that altitude with a mountainside nearby. So, huzzah! Hooray for idiocy! Let's celebrate ourselves with an example of our own, shall we? As we go into very high verticality ground strike. Oh, that's a cool image. Right? The vertical stalling maneuvers in the 110. And look at this thing. It does stall out fairly quickly, but it also stalls very cleanly, and that's something I can definitely appreciate. What is that? Oh, open top? Well, don't mind if I do. I've brought my Teutonic can opener here, and I'll just MG 108 or what's the MG 151, yeah, whichever one gets in first. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit. Let me just adjust my aim very, very awkwardly. Almost crash into the ground. Did I mention that I'm getting a feel for this aircraft? And, you know, the ping was up there and the numbers. The sun was in my eyes. And, you know, serviceability. What other excuses do I have here? New aircraft. Who does? But basically, what I'm trying to say is my aim is absolute trash, and I'm still able to take down open top and lightly armored vehicles. This is your Bf110 G series for you. It's just a very, very satisfying aircraft. And like I said, you don't have the ability to take over a match, and it really just comes down to the fact that your performance is not versatile enough. You're not maneuverable enough to outfly enemy fighters effectively. So as soon as an enemy fighter focuses on you, you're in trouble. The only option you have is to go heads up or just try to stall for a while. Not that kind of stall. Toshio, what are you doing? But that, I mean, hope for help from ground-based SPAA or friendly fighters. That's not something we have access to. And I thought about leaving the match there just because of, well, I mean, I wanted to spend some more time in the Bf110. But we do have this M4 hybrid, and like I said, it's an absolute delight. I've been a fan of Sherman tanks ever since my days in World of Tanks, where the derp Sherman was a thing and high explosive rounds were king. Been a while for both of these games since high explosive has been anything worth writing home about, and that's probably not going to change anytime soon. It's too versatile to have a round that can punch through everybody's upper deck armor and destroy everything inside the tank. So now, you know, you have a round that can punch through everybody's deck armor and do fuck all for post-pen damage. Balance, comrade. And you know what? There is a certain amount of balance that's required in this game. But then there's things like the Sherman tank that just keep getting better and better. And honestly, I expect to see this tank go up to a 4.0. Now with the new changes to stabilizers, all of the 3.7 Shermans are just a little bit better, and they're really starting to feel like well, like a very low tier Centurion with APHE, God Round, Smack. Yeah, look at that. That is post-pen damage, my friends. Anyway, this has been something of a long video, and I've just been totally exhausted. I say the girls are tired from yesterday, but I got a good 6 hours of sleep, and I've been yelled at for about 3 hours straight today by babies. So I'm a little roughed up. I'm trying to like teach my girls to get a grip on their emotions, but man, I get a little bit grumpy too, and it definitely shows. Cause I'll snap at Brooklyn for doing something that she shouldn't be doing, but you know, I've got a little bit of anger in my voice. A little bit, I tell you. I'm not an angry guy, but you know something about little girls? They notice everything about the mood you're in. And so if I get a little bit mad at my girls or a little bit frustrated, then they just completely break. Brooklyn's like, I just love you. And so we gotta spend like the next 20 minutes just bonding while I hold her, and she tells me all about, you know, the little dispute we just had. It's kind of cute, but I mean, like, I got stuff to do, kid. Stop loving me! Why do you care so much? But you know what? When you love, it makes you care, and it makes you a little bit crazy. And what was that? What was going on there with that nothing armor that tank has, and the 100 mils of pen that I have? And you know what? There we go. Give me another shot. Give me another try, and we'll do this one properly. Thank you so much, sweetie boy. I won't let your sacrifice go to waste. Internet glory is your reward, and mission failed successfully is mine. Gotta say, we put up a pretty good fight here, but Soviet teams are really rocking as all of the meta chasers are chasing down Soviet vehicles for various reasons. Shell changes being what they are, and stock heat FS being what it is, making a new meta for Soviets in this update that really cheekies their breeky. But in any event, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I don't know where I was going with this video. I've just been all over the place, but I really have been enjoying my new Italian lineup, my golden lineup, and I'm running some fairly low-level crews, so it's a new experience for me. And I gotta say, as much as I complain about how crew skills are a thing in War Thunder, you can get by. You can get around it if you use the right tactics, and I mean, the Sherman is just such a fantastic... Where are you, buddy? Are you there? Okay, I should have waited just a second to fire, but this thing's got a fairly quick reload. You son of a putman. He got me, Warbly. He got me good. Back me up. How cool is it to be in a Sherman and have a Whirlwind for backup? Also, that round into the back of our turret did absolutely nothing. And the only thing I can say to that is shenanigans, error in your favor. That was definitely a ghost round that the enemy team, or the enemy player, fired. That one, splashing off my highly angled frontal plate, was definitely aimed at like the worst spot you could possibly aim for, but maybe he was firing on the move, and also that Whirlwind was definitely giving him something else to think about. So hooray for SPAATDs, they are really the best, and Warbly Boy being probably one of the best examples. And now we hold almost, and soon to be, all of the capture zones. Could we even win this battle? My goodness, wouldn't that be epic? Wouldn't that be incredible? You know what? I don't even care. I've been having so much fun in this tank. Things have just been wild, and there's our failure. Somebody must have died. Anyway, catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.